The Young Women's Christian Association of the Philippines is a private, non-stock, non-profit, non-sectarian, service-oriented, and charitable organization which was founded in 1948.
YWCA aims to develop the physical, social, intellectual, moral, and spiritual well-being of women and girls in accordance with the Christian ideals for which the movement is deeply rooted. The goal of the YWCA are to bring about quality of life, to develop women as change leaders and members in body, mind, and spirit, to engage in selfless Christian service, and to empower women and girls in dynamic partnership with men and service groups toward total transformation.
The Young Women's Christian Association is founded in 1855 by Emma Roberts and Lady Mary Jane Kinnaird. These two agreed to consolidate their efforts for a common cause during the Crimean War. In the Philippines, a similar interest group, the Time Investment Club, founded in 1921 under the leadership of Mrs. Felicissima Larcos Barca, became the nucleus of the YWCA movement in the country. The first YWCA was officially organized in October 1926, which is the YWCA of Manila. Its first honorary president was Mrs. Aurora A. Quezon. This was followed by the organization of YWCAs of Baguio and San Pablo, thus the need to have a national organization. Dr. Jose Fajar Martinez was the first chairperson of the Provisional Board who worked on the establishment of the YWCA of the Philippines. And on February 14, 1948, the YWCA of the Philippines was formally created with Dr. Flora Ilagan as the first national president. The YWCA of the Philippines was admitted as a corresponding member of the World YWCA during the World Council meeting in Hangzhou, China in 1948 and was taken in as an active member at the World Council meeting in Beirut, Lebanon in 1951. It is linked with other national YWCA in about 100 countries around the world through the World YWCA, whose headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. The YWCA is at work in the Philippines through groups such as YBODs, who is elementary school girls, Y-Teens organized in secondary school, Student Y organized in colleges and universities, Young Professional and the Adult Ys. There is also the Community Youth Club, whose members either be in school or out of school. The YWCA of the Philippines has over 20 local associations all over the country and serves over 50,000 people through these local associations. Local Association from Northern Luzon, Local Association from Southern Luzon, Local Association from Visayas Region, and Local Association from Mindanao. YWCA leadership headed by Mrs. Lilia A. Farinas, National President, Ms. Marla May A. Baez, National Youth Coordinating or NYCC President, and Mrs. Nerissa B. Riena, National Executive Director. YWCA of the Philippines legal mandate. Affiliated with World YWCA. Programs and services are accredited by the Department of Social and Welfare and Development. We partner with other organizations like YMCA, GSP, NCWP, Renewable Energy Coalition, PhilCADSA, FAWA Philippines. Our local association partner with DepEd, CSWDO, and other entities. YWCA pioneered in health and recreation, introduction of physical education in the school curriculum, adult education, community center, camping for girls, youth work, residence, and ecumenical movement. Here are the YWCA's strategic actions and accomplishments.
health services. Any move or plan to improve?
Depression is the largest cause of disability worldwide. At worst, depression can lead to suicide. In humanitarian emergencies, 1 in 5 people are affected by depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety lead to a global economic loss of $1 trillion per year. On average, just 3% of government health budgets is invested in mental health. Depression can be prevented and treated at relatively low cost. Treatment usually involves talking therapy or antidepressant medication, or both. If you think you have depression, talk to someone you trust. Seek professional help. Depression. Let's talk.
Welcome for the continuation of the Y Talk series entitled Understanding the Philippine Mental Health Law, also known as the Republic Act 11036 with the hashtag Y Cares for You. For those who are unable to join us last September on the discussion of the Philippine Mental Health Law Part 1, you may visit and watch the posted video on YWCA of the Philippines Facebook page. Again, this webinar session's objective is to provide awareness and better understanding of the Philippine mental health law to help women, young women, the community, and stakeholders to be empowered through this law. I am Jessica Deboton, and I will be your host this afternoon. Before we proceed, let me remind everyone just a few rules in order for us to have a pleasant experience for the duration of the forum. First, please set your microphones on mute. Second, please turn off your cameras. And third, please be advised that this session is being recorded for documentation purposes. And lastly, if you have any question, you may use the chat feature so that we can acknowledge you. And to start, let us listen to a doxology offered by Miss Nina Krista May Haro, Young Women National Council member and a three-time defending champion, Tawag ng Tanghalan sa Showtime, to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
You were the word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is! What a beautiful name it is! The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is! Nothing compared to this. What a beautiful name it is! The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us, so Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. So what would separate us now? What a beautiful name it is! What a beautiful name it is! The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is! Nothing compared to this. What a beautiful name it is! The
Pambansang Awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay tinatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, makituwing at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitindig. Lupa ng araw ng walhating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya ng pagkay mag-api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
To officially start the program, we are pleased to have Ms. Marla May Baez, President of the National Youth Coordinating Council, to deliver her welcome remarks.
To our National Executive Director, Ms. Neriza Liana, our Vice President for Administration, Ms. Maria Corazon Francisco, our Resource Person, Attorney J.B. Gayona, our Moderator, Ms. Marie France Gavino, and to all of you participants here today, good afternoon. The Young Women's Christian Association, true to its purpose to develop women volunteers in all ages in the movement, and goal to empower women and girls in dynamic partnership with men and service groups towards total transformation, has been continuously providing means and ways to educate young women and girls in vital issues that we are currently facing. One of the prevailing issues that we have observed amidst this pandemic is mental health. And today, in accordance with our Why Talk series, we will be hosting our part 2 for our topic, Understanding the Philippine Mental Health Law, or RA11036. Rest assured that this platform, this talk, is your safe space. And I hope that each and every one of us will be able to take a piece of our learning from today's talk and apply it in our daily lives. With this, I am very much honored to welcome you all to this forum. Good afternoon again.
Thank you so much, Miss Marla, for your warm greetings. And it is also my privilege to call on the National Executive Director of the YWCA Philippines for the acknowledgement of our guests and participants, and to properly introduce our resource person or speaker for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nerissa Biliana.
Thank you, Jessica. Blessed afternoon to all. We are now on our last forum on our mental health topic in observance of World Mental Health Day happening this Saturday. This forum, which is part of the Y Talk series, is made possible by the Global and Local Affairs Committee of the YWCA of the Philippines and the National Youth Coordinating Council of the association, with support from the World YWCA COVID-19 Response Fund. Would like to thank you all for attending this afternoon's activity. We are delighted to thank you all, and we are also would like to acknowledge those who are joining us since day one or September 23 for our first part one of the Mental Health Act, and last September 25, and I think some of you became my FB friends already. Keep liking our YWCA page, and of which the link will be provided later in the chat box. Some have registered to become members of the YWCA, and we thank you so much. And we look forward to more activities with you online and offline. The latter, we are praying, since we really have good and exciting activities and programs when these pandemic restrictions is lifted. For my task this afternoon, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our guests and participants. I will be starting off with the members of the National Council, headed by our National President, Ms. Lea Parinas, our Vice President for Administration and Management, Maria Corazon M. Francisco. We have with us our immediate past National President and Chairperson of the Council of Past National Presidents, Dr. Baby Ortiz, our Public Relations Officer, Melody Marfil. Of course, earlier you've heard our NYCC President and our MC, Ms. Jessica De Boton, National Council member. Another National Council member is Ms. Nina Haro, who earlier sang the doxology. We have the Global and Local Affairs Committee, headed by Chairperson Remedios O. Bicomo, who is also the President of the YWCF Quezon City District 3. And with our members, Marcia Bicomo and Ms. Rachel De La Cruz. I think the chairperson of the Membership and Collection Policy, Dr. Rosemary Conlu, will be joining us this afternoon also. We would like also to acknowledge the National President of the National Federation of Women's Club of the Philippines, also a YWCA Associate Member, Mrs. Linda P. Gonzalez. We have local associations coming from YWCF Makati, YWCF Marikina, Quezon City, Dagupan, Rojas City, and Iloilo. And also we have Ms. Marie-France Gavino, our speaker in the second online forum, which will be introduced properly. She will be having a different hat this afternoon. Of course, we would like to acknowledge the following organizations, schools, and government institutions. Our Lady of Fatima University, Centro Escolar University, St. Luke's Medical Center, PICPA, I think this is the association of different groups of psychologists, Aurora Chapter, Bye City Senior High School, ACC Hypermart Corporation, New Cabalan National High School, Senior High, Essentia Medical Group Incorporated, DM Consuni Incorporated, Cebu City Medical Center, University of the Cordilleras, Visayas State University, University of Caloocan City, Santa Lucia Catholic School, St. Louis University, Department of Budget and Management, NCR, Malawa Elementary School, Dr. Celedonio A. Salvador Elementary School, Bukidnon State University, DepEd Caloocan, Torres High School, Manila, Batangas State University, Abra Valley Colleges, Quezon National High School, Buenlag National High School, Barcada Contra Droga, Calasiao Chapter, University of Makati, Philippine Association of Social Workers Incorporated, Ilocos Chapter, Maripipi National Vocational School, DepEd SDO Pangasinan, Cavite State University, Indang Main Campus, Northern Luzon Philippine State Colleges, Mariano Marcos de Memorial Hospitals, Ilocos Training and Regional Medical Center, University of Batangas, of course, Hill Space Psychological Clinic, St. Louis University, and Negros Oriental State University, and lastly, Amara Counseling and Training Center. So those are the list of those who have participated in. So my main task, our resource speaker for those who were not able to join us last September 23 is a pride and joy of the YWCA of the Philippines. Attorney J.B. Rosel Goco Gayona graduated from San Beda College, Bachelor's of Law, and admitted to the legal profession in 2007. She is a licensed and certified human resource professional and safety officer too. Attorney Gayona was recently promoted as Associate Director, Human Resource, Employee Relations, and Legal Compliance of Colabera, Philippines. Congratulations, JB. Colabera Philippines is a subsidiary of Colabera Incorporated, a global workforce solution and IT service provider with 16,000 plus professionals working across 70 plus offices in 10 countries. With her headquarters is in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. In the Philippines, they have over 2,500 employees in their offices in Makati and Cebu City. So such a big task for JB now that she's assistant director. Prior to her appointment, Attorney Gayona was company head legal counsel, where she handles the 4 areas of operation: legal, which includes contract review, compliance, DOLE and SEC compliances, human resource for internal employees, and employees relation for employees deployed at client site. In the YWCA, JB, as we fondly called her, holds the distinction of being the first young woman who was elected in a vice president position in the 17-member National Council, the highest policy-making body of the YWCA of the Philippines, with over 20 local associations in the country. JB was first elected president of the NYCC, the youth arm of the association, which earned her a seat in the council, and was later elected as treasurer during her first term in 2010 to 2012 and vice president for program in 2012 to 2014. JB served in various committees of the association. She also represented the association in the Crime Prevention Conference in Malaysia in 2013 and was one of the worldwide WCA delegate in the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, UNCSW, in New York in 2017. She is currently the member of the Legal and Ethics Committee and the Disaster Management Committee of the association. Truly an inspiration to many young women and a warrior who is ready to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Attorney J.B. Rosel Coco Gayona.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us in this afternoon session, the part 2 of our discussion on Philippine Mental Health Act. So 2 weeks ago, we've already discussed the basics of this Philippine Mental Health Act, who are the key persons involved in the implementation of this act. We have the service user, we have the legal representatives, we have the supporters, we have the mental health care professionals. We also discussed about the rights available to each person. So now, in this afternoon session, for the part 2, we will discuss what are the services available in relation to this Philippine Mental Health Act. I-discuss din natin yung mental health care sa educational institution and of course, sa workplace. So, let's begin. What are the services available? So, in mental health services at the community level, ano yung involved dito? So, sa barangay level or sa city, sa municipality, this involves yung wellness promotion, prevention, peer support, livelihood and employment, and other community support services. Yung ibang barangay, what they do in wellness promotion, meron silang, for example, nag-organize ng pa-Zumba, meron yung nagpapaliga sa basketball, or for example, meron din yung nagkakaroon ng mga cleanliness drive kasi nga syempre malaki rin yung epekto nung paligid natin sa ating mental health. And meron din yung mga nag-offer ng mga livelihood, mga skills training, and iba pang paraan para mapakita ng community yung suporta niya to a development or wellness promotion ng kanilang buong komunidad, no? Then we also have this community-based mental health care facility. This involves establishment of mental health care facilities in provinces, cities, cluster of municipalities. Ang example nito, yung mga community mental health center, outpatient care center, halfway houses, and crisis center. As mentioned, this IRR was just recently passed by the government. So basically, this is pre-COVID. Most barangay naman, they already have the barangay healthcare facility or mga LGU. However, yung sa aspeto ng mental health care, which is yung kung ano-anong mga policies and programs, sa palagay ko right now, while it is a priority, mas abala pa sila sa pagsumpo or pag-assist doon sa mga COVID cases. So, as mentioned din last time, baby steps until full implementation of this community-based mental health care facility. But asahan natin in the years to come until magkaroon ng 100% realization itong mga community-based mental health care facility para maging affordable and accessible for everyone yung ating mga services. Kahit sama rin sa IRR yung requirement na magkaroon ng drug screening services. So, each local healthcare facility must likewise be capable of conducting drug screening either through laboratory exam, use of risk assessment skills, and screening questionnaires. Right now kasi, yung mga drug screening services, we pay for it either part of pre-employment or pag-renew ng lisensya. But once this is available in every local healthcare facility, mas marami yung bebenepisyo dito. Kasi nga, mai-ensure na drug-free community. So, yung kasama yun sa paraan ng pangangalaga natin sa ating mental health. No? Walang drug addiction. Now, isang bagay na pinagdiinan or binigyan ng pansin as well dito sa IR are yung suicide prevention. Sabi dito, there must be a mechanism for suicide intervention, prevention and response strategies with focus on concerns of youth. So based dito, it appears na the suicide rate mas prevalent o mas marami sa ating mga kabataan, which is why hinikayat nila na mag-set up ng 24/7 hotline. And bilang tugon dito sa panawagan nitong IRR, yung National Center for Mental Health, nilaunch nga nila yung 24/7 crisis hotline or yung binanggit natin last time na itong crisis hotline na ito, this is manned by mental health care professionals na open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So, nandito yung numbers 0917-899-8727, 989-8727. So, para mas madaling matandaan, usap yung last part. No? So sa cellphone, di ba, merong number, may letter. So, 0917-899-USAP, 989-USAP. Minsan kasi, while may mga programang ganito or may mga available na facilities like this 24/7 crisis hotline, ang problema, hindi naman lahat nakakaalam na nag-exist itong hotline na to. So siguro, kailangan din ng public awareness. We can also help by sharing this information na meron ng suicide prevention hotline or this 24/7 hotline na sinet up ang ating gobyerno to assist doon sa ating mga kababayan na merong pinagdadaanan and yung gusto nila kung may makausap sila, may makinig kasi minsan naman talaga malaking bagay na yung someone's listening to you, not necessarily may in-expect kang payo o advice, but just having someone to listen to you is a big help already. And kadalasan to avoid or yung misconception na ayaw rin natin syempre na mahusgahan. So, mas pinipili natin yung third party or yung neutral party. And dito sa hotline na to, mas maganda kasi mental health care professional yung mag-a-assist sa atin, yung makikinig sa atin. Kung meron mang red flag o merong indicator of, for example, depression or any mental health concern, mas madaling ma-address, magkakaroon ng follow-through. So, this is the hotline number, 24/7 crisis hotline. I-share din naman namin, so at least you can share the information. Now, what are the components of this National Suicide Prevention Strategy? Number 1, yung emergency mental health care for persons in suicide crisis situation. Second is the mainstreaming of suicide prevention in public health condition and other priority health program katulad ng HIV. yung mga non-communicable disease sa school, sa workplace, disaster areas. Kailangan din ng training of first responder, health professionals, and volunteers para ma-recognize yung suicidal behavior. So, minsan nga kasi, di ba, sabi nga nila, you may be smiling, but deep inside pala merong pinagdadaanan. And usually, people who commit suicide, hindi mo agad makikita or madidetect na may tendency pala siyang mag-commit ng suicide. Kadalasan, after the fact, after nangyari, parang hindi kadalasan sa pamilya, wala naman din yung halata or nakakaramdam na may pinagdadaanan na ganun yung isang individual. So dito, kailangan ng skill, kailangan ng training to recognize yung ano ba yung mga suicidal behavior. So kailangan din ng counseling, like yung ating crisis hotline. And of course, kailangan din mag-provide ng support doon sa mga naulila ng na pamilya nung taong nag-commit ng suicide. Sabi nga natin, 'di ba, sa mental health kasama sa isang factor yung psychosocial, yung how we react as well to the events na nangyayari sa buhay natin. So, yung mga naulila, kailangan din nila ng assistance to cope up with what happened sa kapamilya nila. Responsible media reporting and handling of suicide events, establishing a system of suicide surveillance by 24/7 hotlines. Sabi dito, yung DOH, they will develop policies and guidelines on suicide prevention strategy. And dapat, hindi lang siya policy, hindi lang siya guideline, but there must be a link to actual support services, no? Hindi lang tayo dito yung puro policy o issuances. Kailangan merong actual na link o merong policy, merong programa, may implementasyon. And ayun nga, ang naatasan dito to have this implemented pag-craft ng policy yung ating Department of Health. Currently, ang nilalabas pa lang nilang guideline is yung sa IRR. So I'm sure itong sa suicide prevention strategy, they will release more informational materials, no, on this, and other support services. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga, yung hotline, it was just launched to address the need na sinasabi nitong IRR. So, I'm sure once na magkaroon ng opportunity and medyo mag-lessen na yung concerns natin with COVID, mas matututukan ng gobyerno, ng Department of Health, yung ating mental health care facilities and support. Now, this integration of mental health in educational system, ang kailangan dito nire-require yung i-introduce yung mental health sa lahat ng antas, no, ng edukasyon. Pero ang requirement, dapat age-appropriate yung content. So halimbawa, sa mga bata, magsisimula yan sa wellness promotion, pagkain ng tamang pagkain like gulay, prutas, pag-exercise. Kung bata, hindi mo naman pwedeng in relation to mental health, discussan mo ng tungkol sa suicide o halimbawa depression. So, hindi naman pwede yung mga technical terms. Dapat, syempre, age-appropriate yung content nung kapag in-introduce mo siya in each educational level. Now, requirement din na yung psychiatry and neurology, yung subjects na to, be required na siya sa mga medical and health courses. Kasi diba, nabanggit nga natin yung mental health care, mayroong 3 aspeto: psychiatric, neurologic, and psychosocial. So, mahalaga na itong mga subjects na to hindi na siya optional, but required na siya in all medical and allied health courses. Educational institution, likewise, kailangan nila mag-develop ng policies and programs for students, educators, and employees designed to raise awareness on mental health issues. Yung ma-identify and provide support and services for individuals at risk, i-facilitate yung access, including yung referral mechanism of individuals with mental health condition to treatment and psychosocial support. So lahat ng public and private educational institution kailangan magkaroon um, ng mental health professionals sa eskwelahan. Usually, meron yung guidance center. So, meron naman psychologists and all. But of course, hindi naman lahat ng public educational institution meron ito. So, kung magkakaroon ng ito requirement na to, kailangan mag-alat din ng gobyerno ng budget para makapag-hire sa plantilla ng mga eskwelahan na public schools for hiring nitong mental health professional para sabi nga natin, ang aim ng IRR to have the mental health care facilities and services be readily accessible and and of course yung cost wise hindi mabigat sa mga mamamayan. So by having it available as well sa mga educational institution, both public and private, malaki yung maitutulong nito, no? Because at the early onset nung mga symptoms or ng mga red flags, ng mga indicators, ma-address since laging merong accessible access to mental health professionals. Now we move on to the workplace. So mental health care sa workplace. So last February 11, 2020, sorry. So last February 11, 2020, DOLE issued Department Order number 208. This guidelines for the implementation of mental health workplace policies and programs for the private sector. So, ang applicability nito sa lahat ng workplaces and establishments in the formal sector, including those which deploy OFWs. So, itong DOLE Department Order number 208, applicable lamang ito sa private sector. Dito sa department order na to, sabi niya, it is mandatory for all workplaces and establishments to formulate a mental health workplace policy and program. Na yung policy and program, kailangan, it must raise awareness, mag-prevent ng stigma and discrimination, provide support to workers who are at risk and or with mental health condition, and facilitate access to medical health services. So how do you raise awareness? Of course, magkakaroon ng orientation sa workplace and magpo-provide ka ng support as well na doon sa mga empleyado na you consider as at risk or sinasabi nga with mental health condition. Promote workers' well-being towards healthy and productive lives. So, kasama dito yung pagkakaroon ng mga employee engagement activities, kailangan to ensure na merong work-life balance, malaking bagay yun. So, like sa amin, what we do, we have a health bulletin. Sometimes it contains reminders ng yung mga, for example, eating healthy and nutritious food, or minsan yung simple reminder ng ergonomics like how to avoid yung ng carpal tunnel or in between the work from home, so laging nakaharap sa computer, somehow every time, like every hour, you stretch out and all kasi hindi naman talaga maganda yung prolonged sitting. No? So, kasama yon yung workers' well-being towards healthy and productive lives. This mental health policy and program, it must be jointly prepared by the management and workers' representatives and be made an integral part of the company's occupational safety and health policy and program. So, what we did sa amin, meron kasi kaming occupational safety and health committee. And the committee is composed of both management and mga empleyado. So, may rank and file, may manager, aside from the safety officer, no, para lahat represented in crafting the policy. And this policy and program, it must be properly coordinated, monitored, and regularly reviewed and updated as necessary for its effective implementation. So kung halimbawa yung HR ng isang company kailangan ng assistance kung paano mag-come up with this workplace policy and program, they can ask help from the DOLE, from DOH, and other organizations na like Psychological Association of the Philippines, Philippine Psychiatric Association. So ito, yung mga naka-list down dito sa department order. Kasi syempre, mahirap din naman mag-formulate ng policy and program na hindi mo naman talaga actually naiintindihan. Baka mamaya lugar na makatulong, mas lalong makasama pa. So, mas mabuti na carefully drafted, sabi nga, properly coordinated and monitored. And kailangan din, nire-review. Baka mamaya outdated na yung policy and program, hindi na siya nababagay dun sa current working situation. Like, for example, if the workplace policy and program naka-pattern siya during the time that everyone's reporting at the office, baka kailangan ng revision or addition to the provisions ng policy and program since, for example, lahat ng empleyado naka-work from home due to this pandemic. So, kailangan it must suit the needs of the employees in the company. Now, what are the components and implementation strategies of the mental health workplace policy and program? Number 1, advocacy, information, education, and training. So, all workers should be provided with basic information and education on mental health. So, kasama sa basic information and education, yung understanding mental health and its impact in the workplace and the workforce, yung identification and the management of mental health problem, and of course, yung salient features nitong Mental Health Act and its implementing rules and regulations with emphasis on the rights, no? Rights noong service user, and of course, yung consent, yung sinabi nga natin, informed consent. And last, yung confidentiality of all information or medical records of a worker with mental health condition. Sabi rin ng Department of Labor and Employment, employers are encouraged to extend advocacy, information, education, and training activities to the workers' families and communities. So, hindi lang siya sa empleyado, kundi kasama pati yung pamilya through their corporate social responsibility program. Usually, private companies naman merong integrated na corporate social responsibility, and usually like sa amin, what we did before, of course yung mga family day, malaking bagay yun kasi you give families the chance to enjoy and just really form a strong bond among themselves. And kailangan din kasi itong mga CSR program, yung approach mo is mag-avoid ka ng stigma and discrimination, and of course, para mas lalo pang maintindihan yung condition or yung kalagayan ng isang empleyado na may mental health condition. And of course, yung big support group nun, aside from the workplace, syempre yung family. So, hindi lang sa empleyado, but involvement as well of the family and yung community. So, malaking bagay yun. Yung OSH personnel, so ano yung OSH? Occupational Safety and Health Personnel. And yung HR, kailangan din mag-undergo ng capacity building on identification, recognition of psychosocial hazards, and management of mental health problem. Likewise, kung merong capacity building, kailangan din ng training, no, of workers and program implementers in promoting and advocating mental health in the workplace. And ito, pwedeng i-coordinate sa Department of Health or sa National Center for Mental Health, no, or sa ibang mental health service providers. Now, another component is the promotion and enhancement of workers' well-being to have healthy and productive lives through the following recommendation. Una, kailangan i-increase yung workers' awareness on mental health and other common conditions like depression, anxiety, and substance abuse including alcohol. So, how can this be done? Ang sabi dito, distributing leaflets, workshops, and posters. But sabi ko nga, everyone naman, usually, merong email. So, pwede magkaroon ng email blast or sa workplace, merong posters, no? Na makikita yung readily, like, it can be sa pantry or sa hallway, any place na mas madalas or visible sa ating mga empleyado. Kailangan din ng promotion ng healthy lifestyle and work-life balance, no? Sa amin, like last week, we had the Employee Appreciation Week. So every day, we have activities. Like first day, since all of us are working from home, ang naging activity is to dress up formal dress up. And then during the parang call every morning with video on, you need to take pictures. So at least it's a feel good na for parang for a change, no, ma-experience mo ulit yung how it's like preparing to go to work ng talagang naka formal or naka business attire. And then yung second day, I think we have this parang crazy mask. So nagkaroon ng parang contest din, how will you be so creative in designing your mask, fanciest mask, ganyan. Nagkaroon din kami ng parang contest on video in TikTok, parang TikTok style video. So and meron ding quiz night, so a chance to get together at least. So somehow kahit na work from home, no, there's a balance, no, a lifestyle na pinopromote natin yung work-life balance. And then this identification and management of work-related stress and stressors, including interpersonal issues with superiors, subordinates, co-employees, clients, and customers. So ito, sa palagay ko, this is one responsibility as well of the HR. No, ano-ano yung mga work-related stress, ano yung paano mo i-address yung mga interpersonal issues. Hindi naman lahat sa loob ng opisina o ng workplace magkakasundo, yung mga magkaka-opisina. Hindi naman lahat maganda ang relasyon ng boss at saka ng empleyado. So kailangan, no, quick din and alert yung HR sa mga ganitong indicators para mas madaling ma-address yung ganitong mga concerns sa workplace. Then effective management of changes in the work organization and utilization of human resources system. So ano yung nandito yung kasama dito yung review ng workload, baka yung empleyado patong-patong na yung task niya or na-assign na ng mga task na hindi na niya sakop. Yung tipong ang work hours is until 5 o'clock only, but yung concerns kulang na sa maghapon, no, if the workload is too much. So ano rin yung burnout, no. Sa akin, since I handle 3 teams, no, what I usually do doon sa aking employee relations team. So this team kasi, it's composed of young individuals. No? So yung team composition namin, mga bata pa sila. So sometimes they're so energetic and passionate about work. Kadalasan, kahit na um, na weekend, nagre-reply sa mga emails or sometimes even sa workday, they reply beyond the office hours. So sabi ko sa kanila, to prevent burnout, you must put a limit. If for example, ang sa amin kasi, ang work hours is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want to still work beyond 7 p.m., but at least put a cut off, be it 8 o'clock, 8:30. And then, kinabukasan na ulit. Anyway, sa akin naman kasi, ang isang bagay, if it's urgent, people will call you. No, people will text you. But you must contain yourself from doing work beyond those time. Bigyan mo rin yung sarili mo ng chance na magpahinga. Yung utak natin, kailangan din yung magpahinga. No? Free your mind from that. And of course, pag weekend, no, kasi syempre, work from home nga. So, paano mo pa madidistinguish yung weekday sa weekend. So, you can do an activity during weekends na hindi mo ginagawa pag weekday. Like sa case ko, Friday night pa lang, I welcome the weekend with K-drama. So until Sunday, I do that, and of course yung mga chores sa bahay. So kahit papaano, na-distinguish ko pa rin ano yung weekday at ano yung weekend, no? So marami namang ways to address the burnout. Yung siguro kasama din dito yung you can do meetups with your friends via Zoom or sometimes Facebook. Sa Facebook group, you can do calls. So malaking bagay yon na somehow we adjust using technology on how we can do socialization pa rin sa mga days na off days natin sa trabaho. So kasama din yung establishment of mental health programs to support workers. Sabi nga, recreational activities, no? Workers' achievements and efforts recognition program. Sa amin, what we have monthly is this town hall. So lahat ng mga performers or mga pakitang gilas for the month, merong award and usually merong binibigay na GC. Aside from the certificate, or sometimes we request for trophy. Now, because we are working from home, what we did, we have a weekly shout out. For example, naabot yung target or merong accomplishment, we do a weekly shout out aside from the monthly wrap up, wrap up report. So, ang prices naman namin, we've tied up with Food Panda. So, may vouchers din. So, somehow, kahit pa paano, adjustment on how we will recognize the workers, employees' achievement. Paano din ma-incentivize sila. Somehow. Diba? Masaya rin naman yung makatanggap ka, isipin mo, Food Panda voucher. Yung actually last week, when we had that Employee Appreciation Week, so our team won the video. We are 30 in the team. So what we did, nagkaroon kami ng parang campaign video on the healthcare protocol, like paggamit ng alcohol, yung proper disposal ng mask, yung pag-sanitize ng mga packages, yung tamang pag-sneeze, pag-ubo, so yung mga ganun din. Parang yung ginamit naming music, yung We're All in This Together. So dito sa exercise na yun, or sa contest na yun, ang price lang naman na binigay namin 1,000 pesos, and of course yung bragging rights. Pero yung mga bata, yung mga team members ko, sabi ko nga, iba yung energy, iba yung passion, and makikita mo talaga na masaya sila doing that. So, malaking bagay yun, no? Yung mga ganong activities. Needed then, of course, yung psychosocial support in management of disaster and extreme life events, capacity building of managers and HR personnel in the identification and management of workers with mental health problems, and other programs and activities as may be recommended by the Occupational Safety and Health Committee deemed necessary to promote and sustain the well-being of the workers. Now, another component is the social policy. What are these non-discriminatory policies and practices? So sabi dito, 'di ba, may right yung service user against discrimination and stigmatization. So dito, there shall be no discrimination in any form against employees, no, who are at risk of developing or those who are found to have mental health condition. So hindi sila dapat ma-discriminate against hiring, promotion, and other benefits of employment because of their condition. Provided, however, sabi naman dito, yung condition shall not interfere with the employee's performance of their duty, or it must not unduly affect his own safety or that of his co-workers, clients, and of course the public. So sabi nga, while this is the ideal setup, no discrimination in terms of hiring, promotion, and other benefits. Kailangan din, of course, hindi naman to the point na makaka-apekto doon sa performance ng empleyado ng trabaho or yung mga deliverables sa work. No? Kailangan hindi rin yun maka-apekto sa safety niya at ng kanyang mga co-workers, ng mga kliyente, and of course yung, for example, yung public if they are dealing with a lot of stakeholders. The fitness to work of workers found to have mental health conditions shall be determined by an occupational health physician after appropriate medical evaluation, taking into account the clearance provided by the mental health professional. So, for example, may worker na nag-leave o got a treatment, bago makabalik sa trabaho, yung fit to work, or bago makapagsimula ng trabaho, kailangan yung fit to work dinetermine after proper medical evaluation by the mental health professional. A worker may resume work while undergoing treatment, provided that an occupational health physician has certified that he or she is fit for work and that current treatment shall not cause unsafe conditions for the worker while at work or cause similar unsafe conditions for other workers. To monitor and assist the workers in managing their condition, coordination shall be made within the occupational health, HR personnel, and the mental health professional in consideration of the workers' assigned tasks and the effects of medications taken. Dito, I have one team member, nagpa-counseling siya. So, every time, may profile siya ng leave. I think something happened na parang weekly, meron siyang sick leave. So, syempre, kung ikaw yung sa HR, ikaw yung boss niya, magtataka ka na, parang bakit every week, may sakit? Bakit gano'n? Hindi parang habit. So, ginawa namin, inissuehan namin ng notice to explain, no? So, syempre, that's unusual. So, after issuance ng notice to explain, that's when she approached me na sabi nga niya, attorney, actually po, hindi ko po kasi masabi sa lahat, no? Pero sa inyo po, sasabihin ko po na nagpapa-consult po ako, kasi meron po akong schedule weekly. Ito po yung pangalan ng aking doktor, ito po yung current medication na tinitake ko. Kasi po I was clinically diagnosed with depression. So, ginawa ko, of course, instead na, kinausap ko yung HR manager. Let's just put it on record na sick talaga. Let's not question. Anyway, pakita ng proof na may concern na inaasikaso. Kung ano man yung details doon, of course, hindi ko na diniscuss, but at least magbigay ng due consideration doon sa mga ganung bagay. And workers who have undergone pharmacological and psychosocial intervention treatment and are evaluated by the occupational health physician to be fit to work shall not be prevented from returning to work or subjected to actions that may be construed as constructive dismissal from the service. So, usually, for example, if merong empleyado, nag-file ng leave, kaso napakatagal, diba? Or na treatment, hindi advisable. For example, sabi ng kanyang doktor, hindi advisable to be exposed in a stressful situation. For example, sa trabaho, kailangan ng totally makapag-rest yung mind para maging mas mabilis siyang maka-recover from the concern ng mental health niya. Usually, it needs arrangement also with the manager kasi syempre, sabi ko nga, ang trabaho hindi mo rin naman pwedeng pabayaan. Kung halimbawa magti-take ng leave yung employee na may problema, who will do the job na para sa kanya? Of course, maapektuhan din yung company. So, kailangan, but of course, yung worker or yung empleyado, mas kailangan ma-prioritize yung health niya. But before mo payagan bumalik sa trabaho, kailangan meron na siyang fit to work. Kasi meron din naman kaming case before na yung employee, dahil nga naubos na yung leave, so wala nang sisweldohin, nagpupumilit na bumalik na sa trabaho. Pero upon consultation namin dun sa kanyang doktor, hindi pa siya advised to or hindi pa siya fit na bumalik sa work. So, hindi rin namin hinayaan na makabalik sa work. Pero, tinulungan namin na since meron namang record medically, na makapag-process ng sickness benefit sa SSS. So, may mga ganun namang accommodation na pwede ibigay or parang assistance na pwede ibigay sa isang empleyado na may mental health concern. So, a worker shall not be terminated from work on the basis of actual, perceived, or suspected mental health condition unless the condition progresses to such severity that it affects his or her own safety or safety of co-workers and work performance and productivity upon certification issued by a competent public health authority with expertise on mental health. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-terminate ng dahil lang, for example, na-diagnose with a concern on mental health or nag-undergo ng treatment, counseling. It cannot be the basis of termination. Actually, sa labor, ang requirement, if you will terminate someone due to illness, kailangan merong certification ng government doctor that the illness is not, or it cannot be cured within 6 months. So, pwede mong i-terminate due to that. Yun kailangan yung requirement. Then, this confidentiality, there must be a company policy on confidentiality. It must be clearly communicated and understood by all workers. Yung diniscuss natin na advance directive prepared by the worker with mental health condition shall form part of the 201 file and again treated with utmost confidentiality. Yung ibang mga kumpanya, pre-employment, they have this neuropsychological test as additional requirement, no? Kailangan yon treated din with confidentiality. And of course, yung access to personal data or any information relating to workers' mental health condition bound by the rules of confidentiality and of course by our Data Privacy Act. Now, with respect to disclosure, kailan pwedeng i-disclose? Sabi natin, di ba, confidential. So, pero sabi ko nga rin, in every general rule naman, there's always an exception. So workers or employees encouraged to disclose their medical health or mental health condition for purposes of reasonable accommodation. So, gaya nga nung nasabi ko, yung aking team member, no, na uh, napilitan siya or inano niya, dinisclose niya sa akin for me to be able to provide arrangements, no, or mag-extend ng leeway sa kanya for that weekly filing ng leave. So employers and co-workers shall not be obliged to reveal to third party any information about the worker with mental health condition except in any of the following conditions. Unless it is required by law, unless it's disclosed with consent from the worker, unless there's a life-threatening emergency case where such disclosure is necessary to prevent the harm or injury to himself or herself or to other person, and if the disclosure is required in connection with an administrative, civil, or criminal case against a mental health professional or worker, or for negligence or breach of professional ethics. So these are the instances when the the worker or the employer may be compelled or obliged to reveal to another person information about the worker's mental health condition. So, nilay down din ng DOLE Department advisory kailan lang pwedeng i-disclose, no? Now, work accommodation and work arrangement. Agreements on work accommodation and work arrangements for a worker with mental health condition shall be made within management and workers' representatives. Again, ang requirement, dapat hindi maka-apekto or it shall not prevent the worker from performing the requirements of the job, or it should not endanger his or her safety or that of his co-workers, clients, or the public. The measures to accommodate and support a worker with mental health conditions, such as flexible leave arrangements, rescheduling of working hours, and arrangements to return to work, must be clearly explained to the worker, preferably in the presence of his or her family member. But usually, kasi yung worker or yung employee sometimes, sila na rin nagre-request na parang wag ipaalam sa pamilya. So, nasa sa HR naman yun o dun sa safety and health officer kung sa assessment mo hindi naman that serious or that grave na kailangang yung sitwasyon ipaalam sa pamilya. For example, the employee is already seeking professional help, take naman ng medicines and all. So, kung halimbawa kagustuhan niya na magpaalam sa pamilya niya, kailangan natin yung i-respeto, no? The worker may be allowed to return to work with reasonable accommodation and other such arrangements as determined or as recommended by the mental health professional and concurred with by the occupational health physician. So, work policies, kailangan din merong monitoring and evaluation ng changes sa behavior ng worker na pwedeng maka-apekto sa kanyang work performance. For example, if the employee's been hitting the target, for example, it's a sales, no? And then suddenly may decline, or dati yung empleyado participative sa mga meeting, then suddenly parang walang pakialam, or yung empleyado dati responsive, then suddenly nagbago yung behavior. So kailangan merong ganon. Merong monitoring, and at the same time, initiative to check on the employee what causes the change in the behavior or attitude. So, sa HR, we sometimes encourage yung mga managers also to be, no, to be sensitive. Minsan kasi nasa pakiramdaman yan. And ako naniniwala ako na as a manager, your concern is not only with respect to the work that they do, but importante din na kilalanin mo yung yung empleyado mo, yung team member mo. Actually, like sa amin, pre-COVID, no? Pre-COVID. What we do, since the work starts at 10, every other Monday, so twice a month, we have this coffee session. What we do, meron kaming, of course, yung papabrew ako ng kape. Tapos, pwedeng minsan pandesal, may palaman, or yung may magsasaing, may magdadala ng scrambled egg, may tosino, may longganisa, may tapa. Yung simpleng breakfast lang. And usually, nagpipick kami ng topic na it can be what you think is your greatest achievement in life, ano yung kung hindi ka, ito yung trabaho mo ngayon, ano yung sa palagay mo, nasa ang field of profession ka. So, from there, makikilala mo rin yung empleyado mo. Like, from that, mga incident na gano'n, or yung mga sessions namin, aming coffee sessions, doon ka nalaman na tatlo sa team na kasama doon, working student pala, yung breadwinner pala. So, malaking bagay. Because yung experiences nila and yung background nila sa buhay, doon mo rin makikita ano yung drive nila sa pagtatrabaho. Or, for example, meron pa walang issue on self-esteem. No? Na minsan nakikita mo yung empleyado, may malaking potential sa very articulate and all, pero parang nahihiya or So, doon mo makikita, doon mo rin ma-figure out saang aspeto ka pwedeng makatulong, saang aspeto ka pwedeng mag-provide ng support sa kanila, no? Now, this treatment, rehabilitation, and referral system. So, mental health workplace policies and programs shall include capacity for treatment or referral procedure for treatment and rehab to be provided by the employer through the company's workers assistance program or any other program that will provide access to mental health services. Kailangan din yung workers with mental health condition shall be referred to a DOH licensed, accredited, recognized mental health facility or mental health service providers for appropriate management. And the absence of workers undergoing treatment and rehabilitation shall be charged against their leave credits, or they may utilize other regulated leaves, no? Sa VAUSI leave, if applicable lang naman, without prejudice dun sa existing company policy on availment of leave. Pero if, for example, naubos na yung leave credits niya, then the medical leave shall be without pay. Ang kaibahan nga lang, of course, the leave will not be taken against the employee or the worker. The leave will be considered as authorized leave. However, the company naman hindi obligado na mag-provide ng leave with pay doon sa employee na merong mental health condition. And sa company, in the absence of required occupational health personnel, so the safety officer or HR personnel shall facilitate referral of a worker who is at risk or with mental health condition for medical evaluation and or intervention. So sa amin, one employee tried to sinasabi niya na gusto niyang mag-suicide and all. So ang pinakausap ko, since yung aking HR manager, no, at the same time he is a safety officer and may background kasi nurse siya, may background sa medical field. So siya yung pinag-assist ko, pinahanap namin ng psychiatrist na pwedeng tumingin dun sa empleyado And eventually, we found out na ang reason pala is nagkaroon ng heartbreak, kaya pala ganun. So, we allowed the employee to take a leave while undergoing treatment. Pero eventually, yung employee na rin yung nag-resign saying na mas kakabuti daw sa kanya kung totally wala rin daw siyang ibang iniisip muna, kundi mag-heal. So, maka-get over doon sa nangyari. So, pinayagan din namin mag-resign without any requirement na ng rendering period, kasi usually when someone resigns, we require a 30-day period na for turnover and all. So ito, because of the condition, kasama yun sa accommodation. Now, benefits and compensation. So, in determining the appropriate compensation for the treatment and rehabilitation, so ano yung current health benefit packages ng PhilHealth, ng SSS, kung ano man yung applicable, yun yung usually ini-extend ng company. They are entitled as well to monetary and non-monetary statutory benefits. However, this is dependent kung ano yung existing company policy and rules on this benefit. So, nasa sa kumpanya yun kung halimbawa meron talaga silang budget to provide assistance para sa ganitong empleyado na merong concern with mental health. Pero hindi siya mandatory for every company na kailangan magkaroon ka ng budget na kapag for example yung worker nag-file ng leave due to this mental health condition, na kailangan bayaran mo yung mga araw na kung halimbawa naubos na yung leave credits niya, no? Companies engaging services of third-party healthcare provider encouraged to include mental health service in their health packages. So, nabanggit ko nga last time, yung mga kumpanya na merong HMO, no, they can negotiate to include these mental health care packages sa kanilang HMO. No? So, sa amin, sabi ko nga, with IntelliCare, parang we will be adding a 400 peso premium do sa premium na binabayaran, which will entitle us to a 30 minutes na phone session. So, masyadong pricey yun. Pero, ayun, if ever naman, pending ng management, because we're still looking for options, but ang HMO naman kasi sagot ng company, so kasama siya sa benefit. So yun nga, sabi ng Dole, ini-encourage nila yung mga companies to include mental health services dun sa mga ganong HMO packages, no? Now, what are the responsibilities of employers? So, number 1, develop, implement, monitor, and evaluate mental health workplace policies and programs. Number 2, develop and implement programs with reporting mechanisms to address and prevent problems in bullying, such as cyberbullying, verbal, sexual, and physical harassment, so all forms of work-related violence. So ito, yung reporting mechanism, usually sa mga company, usually yung pag nag-report ng ganitong incident, of course, you protect the whistleblower, yung nag-report ng incident, protect them from syempre, yung mga harassment or bullying ng mga kasamahan nila empleyado. So, yung open door policy, mga ganon, na usually sa HR, kung may concern, the employees can just come in and freely discuss and tell or report to the HR kung merong mga ganitong incident. Or, for example, pag-set up ng grievance committee where they can send incident report. So, yun, kasama yun, yung pagkakaroon ng mga reporting mechanism. So, employer must also ensure that there are adequate resources to implement and sustain mental health workplace programs. Sabi nga, kailangan necessary training for the occupational safety and health personnel and the HR officers. Kailangan din ng necessary work accommodation when needed, as discussed kanina, no? So, kailangan may mechanism din for referral of workers at risk of developing or with mental health condition for appropriate management. And, of course, yung kailangan, of course, compliant with all the requirements of existing legislation and guidelines na related sa Mental Health Care Act. Of course, hindi lang naman yung employers yung merong responsibilities, no? Kailangan din yung workers syempre mag-actively participate doon sa implementation ng workplace policies and programs. Number 2, kung meron silang co-workers na at risk or may pinagdadaan ng mental health condition, to provide assistance in any form to improve the condition. And of course, avoid yung discriminatory acts na bilang isang empleyado, meron kang responsibility na kung halimbawa nalaman mo yung isang kasamahan mo may pinagdadaanan or nag-undergo ng counseling treatment, huwag ka na mag-chismis, huwag mo nang siraan, huwag mo nang ipagsabi. Yung mga bagay na yun, malaking maitutulong mo na bilang isang empleyado. So, kailangan kasama yun sa kanyang responsibility. Otherwise, pwede siyang ireklamo sa HR. Because sabi nga dito, it must be, yung empleyado na may pinagdadaan ng mental health condition, yung treatment and yung situation niya, it must be treated with utmost confidentiality. Number 3, workers shall seek assistance from the company occupational safety and health personnel on conditions which may be related to or may result to a mental health condition for their appropriate medical intervention and possible work arrangement or accommodation. And sabi nga natin, may responsibility na sila mismo to not engage in cyberbullying, harassment, and all forms of work-related violence and stress, yung shaming. Kasi usually sa mga opisina, yun yung marami chismis na pag lunch break. Nagsisimula yan sa, uy, alam mo ba? Uy, huwag mong sasabihin. Uy, atin-atin lang. Pero naikwento na sa lahat. So, bawal yun. Kasi, again, bawal ang shaming. And at the same time, para maiwasan magkaroon ng discrimination and stigmatization na baka mas maka-worsen pa o mas makalala pa. Pag nakatulong ka na doon sa kapwa mo empleyado na may mental health condition, mas makalala pa o mas makasama pa sa kanya. So mas mabuti na na kumaga irespeto natin kung ano man yung yung pinagdadaanan noong ating kasamahan na merong concern on mental health. This mental health workplace policy and program, this is a responsibility of the employer. And itong policy and program na to, it must be reviewed and evaluated annually or as necessary to ensure na effective implementation and of course yung compliance, no? And actually itong workplace policy and program, sinasubmit ito doon sa Dole Regional Office. Like for example, here, yung mga companies dito sa Dole NCR. Kasi in terms of compliance and enforcement, it's the Dole Regional Office na nag-i-enforce nito through the Basic Occupational Safety and Health Act. So, ang maganda lang sa Dole kasi, they're quick to formulate with policy and at the same time, they have means as well to check on the implementation because of the dolly audits that they conduct. And usually naman prompt yung mga companies to submit. Ang magiging nakikita ko lang na concern dyan is of course ngayong pandemic, with the with the situation, hindi naman lahat ng company blessed to remain afloat. Marami yung nagkaroon ng reduced work days, or yung may mga nag-lay off. Yung yung uncertainty rin na nararamdaman ng mga empleyado. How will it be like for the coming months? So, kaya mas tumataas yung incident ng may problema sa mental health. So, yun, kailangan yung HR, no? HR must be sensitive, proactive, and at the same time equipped to provide support to employees. So this concludes the lecture on, or the part 2 of this Philippine Mental Health Act. So I hope again somehow may natutunan tayo sa session ngayong hapon. Ang request ko lang sa lahat, again, if we can disseminate the hotline number sa 24/7 crisis hotline, because we'll never know by at least yung ating social media nagamit natin sa tama by sharing the correct information, and makatulong rin tayo sa public awareness on mental health care, na this crisis hotline exists. And wish ko sa lahat, and I pray na everyone to be safe and healthy, and I wish everyone a happy Wednesday. Just always remember to support the programs of YWCA, because really with the view of having a healthy body, mind, and spirit, because Y really cares for you. Okay, thank you again, and I think we are good to proceed with the Q&A.
Yes, thank you so much, Attorney Gayona, for the very informative talk, and it's really good to know more about the Philippine mental health law. Yes, and I'm sure that all our participants already have questions in their mind for later. We would like to remind everyone to please feel free to write your questions in the chat box. Also, but before we proceed with our open forum, okay, let's have a short break. And while we are having a short break, we would like to share an audio and video presentation of the YWCA movement and its advocacy to create safe space for women. So let's all watch this.
As part of a movement with more than 150 years of experience working directly with women and girls, the YWCA movement aligned its program and activities along with the World YWCA strategic goals to ensure that women, young women, and girls are at the center of their own empowerment and that no one was left behind. For the past 150 years, YWCAs around the world have expanded safe spaces to reach over 25 million women, young women, and girls in 120 countries. Providing safe spaces to women and girls in the heart of local communities has been a core activity for the Young Women's Christian Association since its founding in 1855 in London and 1926 in the Philippines. The YWCA is also committed to programs on social and economic justice through action and advocacy and service delivery. What makes the YWCA unique is that our program and services are combined with our advocacy to create impact to women, young women, and girls' lives and generate institutional change. The YWCA of the Philippines headquarters is very visible and accessible. It is located in the heart of Metro Manila, and it provides shelter to affected women, young women, and girls in an emergency situation and critical times where safety and privacy are assured. Leadership and participation. The YWCA is committed to empower women, young women, and girls by providing trainings, seminar, and the like to fully equip them in decision making and bring positive changes in the community. Leadership development and participation opportunities will provide them a chance to equip themselves essential skills and positive transformation. Accurate and reliable information. Young women and girls trust the association because of reliable data and information that they can acknowledge and agree on. Reliability is considered as one of the good assets of the association, especially in disseminating information that are verified and true from trusted resources to protect women and young women to be a victim of violence in a virtual setting.
What's very important for Christians to understand is it's not a question of you not praying or not praying enough. This is an actual sickness, and I want you to understand that you are not being punished by God.
We are here to preserve the life of people. Yung mga tao na depress, yung mga tao may sakit. So, alam niyo po, kapag nagbigay tayo ng hope, mas humahaba ang buhay ng taong may sakit. Mas lalo silang gumagaling. Hindi because of the medication. It's because of the hope, the love that we are giving sa mga taong may sakit.
Wala pa po talagang nag-drugs na gumanda ang buhay. So bakit ka magagamit? Learn from that lesson. And if you want your future to become brighter, say no to sex, smoking, alcohol, and drugs. But just say no.
Building trust. YWCA is open for every woman, young women, and girls to fulfill the association's goal to develop women as a leader and members in body, mind, and spirit. YWCA have been initiating programs and activities to help boost self-esteem with physical, social, intellectual, moral, and spiritual well-being of women and girls in accordance with the Christian ideals. Furthermore, to build the confidence of members, any sensitive cases or information are confidential in the association. Holistic approach. YWCA have been providing support to women, young women, and girls not just on mental, social, physical, emotional, but most especially their spiritual well-being. The organization is also integrating Christian values in all its programs and activities, and one of this is Bible class for young children. It has created a huge impact in supporting leaders and members to engage in selfless Christian service through sharing of knowledge and wisdom to educate and develop more responsible young people. Intergenerational cooperation. National YWCA prepare and develop women-by seminars, conferences, and meetings for decision-making for responsible participation in all aspects of social, economic, political, and spiritual life, and this is to build and strengthen the institutional capacity of the movement. In line with the World YWCA, the National YWCA had policy making vested on 17 members with 25% young women in National Council headed by the President. Dignity and respect. YWCA provides opportunities to young women leaders to involve and participate
in local and international trainings, conventions, and conferences to develop their knowledge and strengthen their leadership skills. Partnership and accountability. The national YWCA is linked with 100 countries around the world through World YWCA, whose headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. YWCA have partnership with other organizations like YMCA, GSP, BSP, NCWP, Renewable Energy Coalition, PhilCADSA, DepEd, and FAO Philippines, to name a few. This is to extend the scope of the mission and vision of the organization to achieve with the same goals.
Right, I hope you enjoyed the video presentation. This is actually simply shows how the YWCA has been moving forward in creating safe spaces to the community. So I hope everyone was inspired on the works of the organization and has been doing to uplift our women and young women and girls. So for those who are interested to be part of YWCA family, you may inquire on our YWCA page, and you may also just chat us here in Zoom. So moving on to the most awaited part of our program, it is my honor to introduce to you our moderator for the open forum. So Miss France finished Bachelor's of Science in Psychology with academic distinction at San Beda University and completed her Master of Science in Psychology major in Clinical Psychology at De La Salle University, Manila. Currently, she is working as a consulting psychologist at Hillspace Psychological Clinic, Child Fam Possibilities, Health Cube Medical Clinic, and Chief Administrative Officer of Smart Driving Corporation. A substantial portion of her strength lies in providing psychotherapy sessions to youth and young adults. She also facilitated psychological assessment to children in conflict with the law, applicants of government agency, children with special needs, and other age groups. Above all, she highly enjoys facilitating seminars, workshops, and leadership trainings to students, teachers, youth, as well as to senior citizens and corporate employees. In her practice, she is guided by a belief that the most useful asset of a person is not a head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, with ears open to listen and hands willing to help. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mary France Gavino.
Hello, good afternoon po. Good afternoon, YWCA family. Ayan, and I'm back. Pero right now po, not as a speaker, but as your moderator. Lalong-lalo na po, we thank you, Attorney JB, for that insightful discussion. No? Ang dami nating natutunan, especially me, as a practicing psychologist, mas lumalim pa yung understanding ko with the mental health law, no? Which is very relevant and timely, diba? Lalo na ngayon meron tayong pandemic. So actually, I invite everybody to type in your questions, and I will be very happy to read them para masagot ng ating attorney. But if kunwari meron kayong mga na-miss questions before nung sa ating conversation about anxiety, you can also type it in. So I will be happy to answer them also. Ayan, ako ang favorite takeaway ko with the discussion of Attorney JB, yung HR programs, no, na pwede palang iba-ibang activities na magawa. I'm so happy doon sa TikTok, no, na parang may mga ganoong engagement levels with the employees. Very, very nice. And also yung mga vouchers, even though maliit lang yung halaga niya, but then kapag pinapamigay with the employees, parang priceless na yung appreciation, di ba, na binibigay with the employee. Very favorite ko rin yung reasonable accommodations that we give, no? Especially right now na different yung setup natin with the pandemic. Ayan. So, and finally, pinaka-favorite ko is yung boundary ng work and rest. So, sabi nga ni attorney, siya nga nag-K-drama, di ba? So, why not tayo din, di ba, to take some rest? Ayan. So, attorney, meron na tayong mga a few questions na na-receive from our participants. So, first of all is, what do you think po is the importance of the Philippine mental health law, and would it be beneficial to all talaga?
Hi, Fran. So again, I would like to thank Ateneri for the warm introduction. Truly, my heart is full every time I am with my YWCA family. I started with YWCA and it really helped me in terms of confidence building. They've sent me to a lot of trainings, and siguro just by being with them, knowing that someone has your back, malaking bagay because I started way back college. So yung training that I got, the leadership, confidence building, malaki yung naging contribution ng YWCA. And were it not for YWCA, I don't think magiging madali for me to, to achieve certain milestones sa career. And ayun nga, sabi ko, thank you. And kaya tayo nagkaroon ng part 2. Nakita nyo naman kung gaano kahaba ang discussion ng Philippine Mental Health Act. And salamat sa takeaway, Miss France. And to answer the question, this Philippine Mental Health Act, I think this is very crucial. This is very timely. Isa itong bagay na dapat nating ipagpasalamat na finally it's here. No, sabi ko nga before, it's baby steps. And malaki ang maitutulong nito. Why? Because, as you can see, there are a lot of services that will be made available. Which means kung may batas, may IRR, isasama to sa budget. Kasi kadalasan naman, we have policies and programs. Ang problema, walang budget. Katulad na lang ng paglalagay ng mental health care professionals sa mga public schools na kailangan mandate yun, di ba? Malaking bagay rin na proactive ang DOLE. No? Kasi sabi ko nga, without this Philippine Mental Health Act, hindi naman tayo magkakaroon ng nitong workplace policy, nitong labor advisory. And ito yung binanggit natin kanina na 24/7 crisis hotline. This was launched purposely and primarily to address the demand of this IRR. So with that pa lang, although sabi ko nga baby steps, malaki ang may tutulong nito sa ating lahat. Kasi yun naman, mental health naman, not necessarily meron ka pinagdadaanan. It's part of you. It's part of your well-being. So yung readily available, merong access, no? Malaking bagay yun. And I think there's a lot of improvement pa siguro kasi yung PhilHealth, no? Hindi pa nila na-adjust yung provision nila in terms of limit nung allowance na pwedeng makuha ng empleyado. But little steps. But I see na once fully operational, everyone, kung makikita ninyo, lahat ng aspeto ng society, from the barangay level, from the LGU provincial level, sa educational institution, sa opisina, lahat tulong-tulong yung community. So this Philippine Mental Health Act, this will be really a big help for everyone.
Thank you for that, Attorney JB. That's true, no? Kasi because of the law, parang mas lalo na po tayong nakikilala yung mental health, no? That it is present, hindi lang siya basta-basta, no? And I think it will really be beneficial kasi siguro some people would think na another gastos na naman yan with the company or with the institution. But really, how can you have a productive, for example, work environment if your employee, diba, if your employees do not have good mental health. So I think I agree with you, Attorney JB, talagang beneficial siya for everyone. Ayan. And having said that, may another question po is, it was discussed that there are mental health facilities available because of the law. Are these services free, including medication? Do you know something about it, attorney.
Oo, gaya ng nabanggit natin, dito tayo may pagkukulang. Kasi yung PhilHealth benefit, as discussed nga, may only cover those na kailangan i-admit. But currently, yung consultation, yung sessions, hindi pa siya covered ng PhilHealth. Ang ni-require ng PhilHealth is i-cover namin kung under the premise na ma-admit sa isang facility or mental health institution yung ating service user or yung ating patient. And yung 45 days allowance lang yung parang value factor when you provide that benefit. So hindi pa rin sasapat, di ba? With respect to SSS naman, sabi ko nga, yung SSS sickness benefit, pwede nilang i-avail. But of course, before you can avail of that, kailangan meron kang supporting documents. Hindi pwede na may pinagdadaanan ako, may na parang self-diagnose, magki-claim ako, hindi po pwede. So currently, since hindi pa fully operational yung mga health care facilities sa mga provinces or cluster ng municipalities, hindi pa siya ganun ka accessible sa lahat kasi it entails cost. Sabi ko nga, even companies, yung aming HMO, no? So, nag-inquire kami, it's a 400 peso, i-add sa premium, and that will only entitle us to a 30 minutes phone consultation. So, hindi siya sapat kasi walang follow-through. So, sa palagay ko ngayon, because our government and hindi pa niya natututukan ng 100% itong Philippine Mental Health Act or yung mental health facility sa atin, dahil because of the COVID situation, hindi pa na-achieve ng Philippine Mental Health Act yung free, accessible and affordable na mental health care services.
Yeah, medyo yun yung sad reality natin. But then, sabi nga ni Attorney JB, baby steps, no? At least we are going there, no? Doon sa ganong policy. Just to add also, meron din po tayong mga nag-offer ng, for example, if you need free therapy sessions or they try to customize it, yung price based on the SES of the client. Siguro yung sa ating mga Philippine Mental Health Association o kaya yung ating NCMH. So, they also offer those services yung iba ginagawa nilang free or yung iba naman at a very low cost, no, para ma-cater yung ating mga fellow men. So, I think meron din tayo sa UST, but then yun lang, medyo mahaba yung listahan, but then, no, let's make an effort at least this, naman, parang at least this is for free and we can maximize it. So, and also, I think yung mga hotlines natin, ganun din siya, walang bayad, no? So, you can reach them out, no, whenever you are in trouble or you need someone to talk to. Ayan. Okay. So, the next question po, Attorney JB, is what are the sanctions of a company who did not comply on DOLE-mandated mental health policy program, most especially during this pandemic, especially for the work from home arrangement? Mayroon po bang mga sanction na dito, parang mako-commit or makukuha ng company?
This workplace policy and program, sabi ko nga kanina, you need to submit it to the regional office, no, kung saan located yung inyong kumpanya, inyong opisina. Usually, if ever there's a complaint being filed, papatawag yan ng DOLE Regional Office for a conference or mandatory conference. So, pagpaliwanagin, or minsan magpapadala ng inspector to go to the offices. Ngayon nga lang na karamihan kasi work from home. Like sa amin, we'll be working from home until the time it's safe to go out doon. So, nasa na lang yun kasi may monthly reporting din yung Occupational Safety and Health Committee. May monthly reporting, may monthly meeting. So, kailangan isubmit din namin siya. Otherwise, mape-penalize kami sa compliance part. But usually, kung magkaroon naman kasi ng violation, may leeway yung gobyerno. Ibibigay sila ng period for you to comply and to show your proof na talagang nag-comply ka na. So, yun ang protocol ngayon, no? For DOLE compliance in case na in relation dito sa DO 208 na to.
I see. Is this applicable also, attorney, with public sector? Kasi sabi po ni Sir Edgardo parang is applicable only to private sector. Is there a way that a public sector be covered also with DO, CSC, JMC 2020 on occupational safety and health?
Ito kasing Department of Labor Advisory na to, this DOLE Advisory, it's applicable only to the private sector because I believe yung public sector, those na nasa gobyerno, covered ng civil service rules. So kung ano yung issuance ng civil service tungkol sa how you manage and supervise yung mga empleyado ng gobyerno, yun yung mag-a-apply. This DOLE advisory is purposely for private companies lamang.
I see. Okay po. Ngayon, no? So, at least siguro po may pwede pang other accommodations that they can apply. No? Siguro all we need to do, for example, lalo na ngayon that we are struggling with this setup, this new normal setup, I think we can convey it to our team leaders or to our managers kung saan ba tayo nahihirapan para at least they can make adjustment o kaya they can help us finding facilities who can help us na in this time of pandemic. Ayan.
Actually,
okay.
if I may add,
yes,
if I may add, no, kasi based on our experience, no, yung mga empleyado, of course, kaya tumataas yung cases ng may concern sa mental health care or mental health. It's because yung ibang companies, hindi sila transparent with what is really going on inside. Kasi yun yung kung empleyado ka, yun yung maisip mo, what will happen to me? Secure pa ba ang aking employment sa mga susunod na buwan? So it's important also for companies to be transparent. What is the current state of the company? They can do that by, for example, holding town hall or may reporting or the head of the company can talk to the managers and from the managers, they can disseminate naman yung information sa mga team members nila because it's important, no? Yung peace of mind, makalma ka man lang na hanggang end of the year, meron akong trabaho, hanggang first quarter of 2021, okay naman kami. Oo, merong mga pinagdadaanan ng kumpanya pero kaya naman. So, mahalaga yon. Pangalawa, sabi ko nga, kailangan creative din yung company in coming up with policies and programs. Lahat ng employee engagement, kailangan talaga may input ka sa manggagaling sa empleyado rin. Kailangan mo silang i-engage to take their mind off things sa mga bagay na ganun. And sa akin, naniniwala ako na yung company during this time challenging maging HR kasi syempre bukod sa naka-work from home, kailangan mag-ano ka rin ng paraan paano mo ma-touch base o ma-reach out yung mga empleyado. You can do it, for example, by scheduling like a touch base call, 10 every day. So at least you get to talk to them. Kasi kung hintayin mo sila na mag-approach sa'yo, most likely mahihiya sila or pangalawa, hindi nila maiisip or at least maramdaman nila that they're welcome. They're free to open things up with you kung ano man yung concern nila, be it sa trabaho, be it sa concern sa pamilya. So malaking bagay yon. Sabi ko nga, the HR should be proactive, should be sensitive, and at the same time kailangan ng learning experience as well. Matuto ng iba't ibang paraan kung papaano maabot yung mga empleyado nila during this time.
Yeah, that's very true, Attorney JB, no? Talagang kailangan ng big adjustment din, talagang kasi really need to reach out to them as well kasi tama po kayo, kapag meron tayong mental health concern or meron tayong problema na nararamdaman, madalas parang kinakahiya natin yun. Pero if there is someone who can tell us na, no, it's okay, I'm willing to listen, malaking bagay po yun. Lalong-lalo na if yung taong yun nasa top management o kaya nasa HR, so it's really a big thing, no? Meron po tayong question dito na in the light of COVID, DOLE issued an order that COVID testing is to be shouldered by the company. However, since not all companies can shoulder the testing, they opted not to have their employee report to work to prevent getting the disease. What if, because of this, the employee suffered from mental health issue, thinking of the loss of income and how to feed their families? Is there a legal violation of the law in this, attorney?
Actually, that's new that ang sabi lang naman ng DOLE, if ever, wag mong i-require ng kumpanya na magkaroon, for example, ng back to work, kailangan magpa-test kayo lahat. Wag mong ipasagot sa empleyado. Pero hindi naman mandatory na kailangan yung employer ang mag-shoulder nung testing, no, nung swab testing or noong ang tawag dito, rapid testing, no. So if for that reason yun yung pinaka main cause, hindi ako I don't think that's enough basis to go after the company for liability. Kasi syempre ano yun sabi ko nga, kailangan kung merong mental health condition, kailangan it must be clinically diagnosed. So tingnan din natin kung anong sasabihin ng mental health care professional. Is it the only reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng ganong problema? Kasi kung halimbawa naman ang naging dahilan is or ang pinoproblema ng empleyado is yung loss of income, kung matatandaan natin, merong mga assistance na binigay ang gobyerno, like yung Dole Camp, so they gave out 5,000, meron yung sa SSS na yung 8,000 or 16,000 na binamigay nila for 2 tranches. Kung magkaroon naman ng unemployment, ganun din may unemployment benefit sa SSS. Ang ano kasi, kung mapapansin nyo, siguro, sometimes when you read issue 1 says ng gobyerno, ang mga material na salita dyan is yung shall, meaning mandatory, may, or encouraged. Pag sinabi natin may or encourage, sinasabi lang ng gobyerno na baka naman pwede nyo gawin para sa mga empleyado nyo. Pero usually kasi, hindi mo rin naman mapipilit yung kumpanya. Ang pinupush talaga ng DOLE is kung magre-require kayo ng empleyado to be back sa trabaho, una, kailangan yung opisina nyo handa. Merong kumpleto sa protocol. Distancing. Maglagay kayo ng mga signages, ng alcohol, ng mga mat. Mag-observe ng yung mga policy sa pantry na bawal ang gathering and all. So, mag-provide kayo ng shuttle. But kung specific sa isang tao, sa palagay ko, hindi rin magiging fair para sa kumpanya kasi kailangan din natin isipin na kung halimbawa ang empleyado mo sa isang kumpanya, like 3,000 employees, kung bawat isa, ganun ang magiging, syempre, kailangan din balansehin ng kumpanya yung capacity niya. Otherwise, the company will fold up, mas marami yung maaapektuhan.
Okay, thank you for that, attorney. Opo, no, talagang this pandemic, kailangan magtulungan tayo. Siguro, what I can tell to this participant natin who asked this question, maybe you can talk to your manager or to your boss, no, na how to help para makapagpa-rapid testing ka, makapagpa-swab test, kasi maybe they can give some allowance like salary deduction ba yan, no? Parang may magkaroon ba ng ganoong parang meet halfway kayo ni nung employer, no, so that kasi syempre of course it could be parang possible aspect of na ma-affect yung ating mental health, pero just like what attorney JB said, no, kailangan balance natin lahat and then i-consider din yung different aspects para at least hindi lahat tayo apektado, lahat tayo lulubog. Do you want to add something, attorney?
Sa amin, what we did as well to address the situation, kasi syempre during the time na nagsimula itong pandemic, so not everyone naman nakapag-report sa work, even if work from home. So una, we've advanced yung 13th month pay, so malaking bagay yon. Pangalawa, of course, kung halimbawa yung empleyado diagnosed to be positive or kailangan i-isolate kailangan unang tingnan is, can the work still be done sa bahay? So, yung adoption ng flexible work arrangement, malaking bagay yon. So, dapat yung employer, like sa amin, may nagpadala kami ng mga laptops, yung mga desktop, pinauwi din. Nag-providing kami ng mga internet, yung modem, yung wifi. So, niloloadan na lang. So, kailangan, yung company, why hindi mo maibigay diretsyo na, okay, sige, sasagutin ko yung testing mo. Pero bigyan mo siya ng other alternative na win-win solution. Bakit win-win solution? Yung empleyado, hindi naman kasi lahat ng nagkakasakit ng COVID, hindi na nakakapagtrabaho. Yung iba naman, asymptomatic. They just need an isolation. So, hindi makakapunta ng opisina. But of course, you can do a work from home. Kung pwede naman, di ba? Bakit naman hindi? So, tingnan natin yung mga other flexible working arrangement na pwede doon sa empleyado. Pangalawa, meron kaming mga empleyado na kailangan mo lang rin kasi alamin yung for example, saan siya nakatira. Ano ba yung mga benepisyo ng LGU niya? Nagbibigay ba ng suporta yung LGU kung halimbawa meron sa isang constituent nila na diagnose na COVID positive. We did that. Kami yung instead na yung empleyado yung nag-link doon sa LGU actually ng Taguig. So, instead na yung empleyado pa yung kumontak sa LGU ng Taguig, we did that for the employee. So at least makapag-establish ka ng linkage, no? So pinigay na namin yung form and all. Then yung LGU, siya na yung kumontak doon sa employee. Kasi yung mga LGU naman, may mga budget sila, may mga provision na nagbibigay ng vitamins, nagmo-monitor, nagche-check. Yung ibang LGU rin may free na sinasagot nila yung testing. So siguro ang kumpanya, hindi kailangan lang rin talaga, you really find ways to help the employee, not just by monetary na bibigay ko sa'yo, ito na, dahil hindi ka nakakapasok, babayaran kita para sa araw to. There are so many ways na para makatulong doon sa empleyado na sinabi natin na COVID positive. Kahit yung pagkamusta araw-araw, yung may nakakausap, yung the fact na tinatago mo or you keep confidential yung kondisyon nung empleyado nyo, malaking bagay yon. So at least when they report back to work, hindi, walang discrimination, walang si iwasan natin. Walang mga ganun. So to sum it all, the company can extend help and assistance, be it monetary or non-monetary na assistance, as long as ang importante naman maparamdam mo dun sa empleyado na with all your means, no, and your manpower, nandun ka para sa kanya.
Ayan. Thank you so much, attorney, no? Napakaganda doon kasi tama naman sabi nga, 'di ba? Kung gusto, maraming paraan. Pag ayaw, maraming dahilan. So, at least we can always find ways, 'di ba, how to help each other. And ganun, parehas tayong magtutulungan. Ayan. Punta naman tayo, attorney, with the youth. May question po tayo dito. As mentioned, youth are the mostly affected on the impact of COVID pandemic. Will mental health be prioritized at school as initial plan by DepEd? And how and what are the measures and guidelines? Meron po ba kayo ditong konting knowledge, attorney?
Naghahanap ako actually, nagre-research ako ng issuance ng DepEd already for in relation to Philippine Mental Health Act. But wala pa akong nakakome across, no. So ang sinabi kasi ng IRR, kailangan i-introduce sa curriculum at every educational level. So actually sa IRR nilagay doon preschool. Mula preschool hanggang sa lahat ng antas ng edukasyon, kailangan mong i-integrate o i-introduce yung this Mental Health Care Act. Ang aspeto naman kasi ng mental health care, hindi lang tungkol doon sa mga depression, suicide. So sabi ko nga, nandun din yung wellness promotion. So sa ngayon, hindi pa siya, sa palagi ko, hindi pa siya specific na policy or wala pang nakakome up si DepEd na directly for mental health. But there are similar programs and policies already being implemented by DepEd na nakakatulong for mental health care. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi naman nabago yung yung mga wellness promotion eh. Ang lang, bigyan din natin sila ng chance kasi kung mapapansin nyo, nasa hot seat din naman na even the online classes, no? Parang it's a big adjustment, of course, yung kawalan ng gadgets, ng tools to use, internet provision, and may mga nagpo-post or nagba-viral pa na yung too much assignments being given doon sa mga bata. Parang lalong nakakadagdag doon sa kanilang pinagdadaanan. No? So, sa akin, sa palagay ko, ayun nga, wala pang direktang step by step na policy or programa dito, but there are already existing programs na nakakatulong naman sa mental health na dati pang pinapatupad ng DepEd.
Ayan. Thank you for that, Attorney JB. Siguro I can speak a little bit of about it kasi I was a part po of their DepEd program kung saan meron silang parang online learning session. So meron kami before na buklatan and meron kami tinatawag for the high school naman is OKK Tambayan. So in there, we discuss mental health issues, parang we relate some stories doon sa situation na related to the mental health of children. I think tama si Attorney JB, walang direct na nagsasabing this is the guidelines, but they are doing something about it because I also heard na they are training the teachers kung paano mafa-facilitate yung mental health concern of their students, no? Ganun din sa different private schools, they prepare the counselors, the teachers on how they can help their students, lalo na ngayon na different yung setup natin, no? Prone to everything pwedeng mangyari kung ano-anong bagay. But then yun, siguro po maybe for the participant who asked this question, maybe kung meron tayong anak, we can ask yung kanyang teachers or yung counselor on how is the setup, kung ano ba yung how can your child reach out para sa mental health help na kanyang makukuha from the school having this new setup. So all we need to do is really to ask, no? I think attorney, yun lang po ang mga questions ng ating participants. So thank you very very much po for entertaining all these questions. Ayan, salamat po. And siguro pa I will just leave with the before I go, siguro sasabihin ko lang po, always remember to be, sabi nga nila, in this world where we can be anything, choose to be kind. And especially, be kind to yourself, no? Lalong-lalo na ang ating mental health. Thank you, Attorney JB, and thank you po, YWCA,
Thank
for
you,
having
Miss France.
me. God bless
Thank you, Miss
po.
France. God bless. Yeah. Stay healthy always.
Stay healthy po.
Alright, thank you so much, Miss Mary France and Attorney JB, for your efforts in answering all the questions and concerns from our participants, and also to those participants who send their questions. And now for the presentation of tokens and gifts to our speaker and moderator. Once again, may I call on our National Executive Director, Ms. Nerissa Liena.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Again, Miss Marie, thank you. Attorney JB, thank you for very enlightening afternoon for all of us. Sa YWCA, medyo yung wellness areas and other things, since pagkabata talagang tinuturo. Have you seen the video? We started the Zoom Bible class during the height of the pandemic. And it also prepares young children to be ready for the online schooling. And even in the remote areas in Iloilo, we were able to facilitate the Zoom Bible class for almost 40 children. Na isa lang yung gadget nila, pero nandun silang lahat. Siguro nakatulong talaga sa kanila kasi nagsasayawan pa every time magtuturo na ng dance. Anyway, to present our simple token, of course, sa aming minamahal na si JB. And of course, ang bago nating member ng YWCA na si Miss Marie. JB, kasama na natin siya sa Y. Officially
Wow,
last time,
welcome.
member
We're
na siya. No?
happy. Yeah.
So, I would like to
Thank you very
read the
much po.
citation. The Young Women's Christian Association of the Philippines and the National Youth Coordinating Council, in partnership with Hill Space Psychological Clinic and Amara Counseling and Training Center, presents this certificate of appreciation to Attorney J.B. Russell G. Gayona for her invaluable contribution as resource person which led to the success of the Y Talk series on understanding the Philippine mental health law, RA11036 Part 2, held on October 7, 2020 via Zoom. Signed by Marla May Baez, NYCC President, yours truly, and signed by the National President, Lilia A. Farinas. Thank you so much, and congratulations again, JB. We're so proud of you for your promotion. Blow out.
It was an unexpected blessing. I guess since I've practiced, gratitude, simple gratitude every day, parang blessings really are pouring in. Siguro yung hindi ka naghahanap, basta pagpasalamat mo lang yung mga lahat ng bagay na nangyayari sa araw-araw. Be it pagmulat ng mata mo, thank you Lord. Kakain ka, thank you Lord. Lahat ng bagay, parang you find, gratitude, magugulat ka na lang. So it's really unexpected because it's the first time that we are having that position in the Philippines. And malaki yung contribution ng Y because our company is really a male-dominated leadership. So in the core management, I'm the only rose among the thorns. And sabi ko nga kanina, nag-message ako sa'yo, Ate Neri, salamat for the token but really hindi mo na kailangan magpadala. Masamang tumanggi sa blessing, but really that's too much because more than this is my simple way of giving back to YWCA. Ano ba naman yung makatulong tayo? Kasi lagi rin naman ako naniniwala na parang when you're blessed, that's another reason for you na maging blessing ka rin sa ibang tao.
Yes. By love, serve one another. Di ba? The next citation is given to Miss Marie France A. Gabino, registered psychologist, for his invaluable contribution as moderator. Alam na ni Miss France kung ano yung mga sidelights of paano tayo napunta dito. May konti kami secret yan. Which led to the success of Y Talk series on understanding the Philippine mental health law. Part 2, held on October 7, 2020 via Zoom, signed by Ms. Marla May Baez, NYCC President, yours truly, and Ms. Lilia Farinas, the National President. Thank you so much, Ms. Marie. Ganun talaga sa wine, biglaan, di ba? Pero training yan, part na training. Thank you so
anytime
much.
po, anytime. Thank you po.
Of course,
God bless
some
us all
tokens,
po.
a small token to remember the YWCA. Diba po?
Salamat po.
May mga, na kayo, lalagyan na kayo. Thank you so much. And of course, sa para mga participants at mga nagbigay ng questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Alright, thank you. And to officially close our webinar today, let us listen to Ms. Maria Corazon Francisco, Vice President for Administration and Management.
Good afternoon, everyone. We express our deepest gratitude to everyone who attended the webinar this afternoon. From the insights we gained on the topic discussed by our resource speaker, Attorney J.B. Giselle Leona, about the Philippine Mental Health Law, RA11036, we hope that it will lead us to a better physical and mental health awareness and a better quality of life. Thank you so much. Stay safe and God bless us all. Hashtag Y cares for you.
Thank you so much, Miss MC. Now, before we bid goodbye, may I ask everyone to turn on their camera so that we have photo op. Ayan po sa Zoom. You may turn on po your camera. Ayan. And dalawang shots po tayo kasi medyo dalawang pages po. So, smile na po tayo. Yan. Ready na po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayan. Okay, wait lang po. Isa pa po. Ayan. Okay po, game po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright. Thank you so much po sa mga nag-participate. And for mga questions, just a few announcement po. There's a link na-share na po sa chat box yung for evaluation so that the e-certificate will be sent out to you po. And for those who inquire or interested to be part of IWCA, we have also a link in the chat box for the membership form. So you may also fill in. Then this video will be also posted in YWCA page. So you may just feel free to visit our YWCA Facebook page and so that you can also review it po. Also, this Y Talk series more talk about the mental. So we will also have programs lined up or webinars lined up for the upcoming weeks. So for more details, just ano lang po kayo sa aming FB page. So again, I think that's all for today. So again, we would like to thank each and everyone po for attending and actively participating in today's Y Talk series on understanding the Philippine Mental Health Law, also known as the Republic Act 11036. So we hope you have learned a lot from today's forum with the hashtag Y Cares for You. So stay safe and God bless us all.
Thank you. Bye.